Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be replacing rear brake pads and rotors. So first, make sure you have some bricks in front of your front wheels just in case. Remember, safety first. And then with my Highlander, it's kind of a different setup. Typically you have your 2 bolts right here holding the brake caliper on. But in this case, you just have the 1 bolt right here, and it's one of the points for lubrication. So we'll go a little deeper into that in a few seconds. So we'll go ahead and start loosening this bolt. Then go ahead and pull it out, and this is what I meant by point of lubrication. Later on, we're going to have to put our silicone on this piece right here. But for right now, once that's out, we'll go ahead and open this up, kind of like a clamshell. And then right back over here is a 12 millimeter bolt holding on the brake line to the strut. We're going to have to go ahead and remove that too. And then go ahead and have a bucket or something ready, because what we're going to do is pull this off. This just kind of slides off. Here, go ahead and release the brake line from the strut. And then this just kind of pulls off. And then set it to the side, because this is your brake line right here. It's got brake fluid in it, and you don't want to stretch it. Then out come the old brake pads. These still have a little bit of life left in them, but at this point, oh well, I've already paid for the new ones, so we're just going to replace them. Then right back in here, there are 2 bolts holding on the caliper bracket, one here and one here. These are both 14 millimeter bolts. So for this one, go ahead and get a breaker bar. And then same thing, just start loosening them up. There we go. Then you can pull them out by hand. And off it comes. Now you're ready to take the old rotor off, but there is a chance this is going to be rusted on. So what we can do, there are 2 holes right here. You can place a bolt in there. And then just take your breaker bar and start moving it like you're tightening it. And then same thing, there's another hole you can use right down here. And then same thing, put it on like you're tightening it. All right. Then we'll go ahead and double check our bricks, make sure they haven't moved any. And then release the parking brake. And then the old rotor just should pull off. Like that. And then this would be a good time to look over everything else. Right back here are your parking brake shoes. Generally speaking, those shouldn't have to be replaced unless you've been driving around with your parking brake on. Then what you'll want to do, because they actually grease these, is take a can of brake clean and just spray it to remove all the grease. They do this because they have no way of knowing how long it's going to sit in a warehouse, and they don't want these to rust. As for why I'm doing this on a chair, this is an old broken chair that a friend of mine asked if I can junk for him around the time I was going to do a dump run, but I forgot about the chair, so here it is being used for this. Then you're ready to put your brake rotor on, and also your old brake rotor will come with this dust cap. You'll want to take it off the old one and put it on the new one. What this is, if you have to adjust your parking brake, you stick a flathead screwdriver in there, and there's the adjusting wheel, and you'll want to line that little hole up in the rotor with that so you can do so. And then I've seen videos where guys recommend adjusting the parking brake, but honestly, you want a little bit of drag, and that seems all right. I'll even put the brake on, and now I can't move it at all, so that tells me the brake shoes are properly engaged. And actually, I take that back. The driver's side here, I had to adjust a little bit, and even the passenger side, the parking brake was a little weak, so hopefully now that'll fix it. As far as adjusting it, you just line this hole up with the wheel that's inside, and then you just take a flathead screwdriver and adjust it downward. Then come back up to your brake fluid reservoir. Make sure you undo this cap if you haven't done so already. You can leave the cap on, but just leave it loose for now. Because right here we have this piston that we got to push back in. This adjusts as the brake pads wear down, but after you put new brake pads in, this is going to be pushed in too far, and the brake pads are not going to fit. At least the new ones won't. So what we need to do is take an old brake pad and push it in. So we'll go ahead and take our C-clamp, line it up with the old brake pad, and then just start pushing that little cylinder in. There we go. There we go. Still had a little more to go. There we go. All right, now we're ready to reinstall the caliper mount. But before we do, take some blue thread locker and put it on the threads. This will keep road vibrations from loosening these bolts up again in the future. Make sure it's blue, not red, because red is permanent. Blue, you can remove in the future. Do not use red. And then just torque them down to about 43 foot-pounds. There we go. Now we're ready to hit our points of lubrication. And here's a tip from Chris Fix. Use silicone-based grease, because if you just use straight grease, it can actually eat away at these rubber seals. And that's what we don't want. So, silicone-based grease is the way to go. Then we'll just go ahead and rub it on. Then we'll go ahead and take the brake caliper, kind of clean this up a little bit. Then we'll go ahead and Put it back on, like so. Then you're ready to grease your new brake pads. I put some on the back and then just a little bit on the sides. And the reason for that is because you don't want any grease that you put on the sides to get on your brakes. So I'm going a little conservative on that one. Then just go ahead and install the brake pads. Like so. Kind of had to do the other one off camera because it's a little tricky getting back there. And then this pin, remember I said earlier it was a lube point? So what you want to do, in fact, we'll go ahead and lube it first. We'll go ahead and take a little bit of your silicone-based grease. Rub it on real good. Then just take a little bit of blue thread locker. Just put on a little dot like that. And then you can go ahead and install that. And then once that's in, torque it down to 25 foot-pounds. There we go. Then you'll get in the vehicle and push down on the brake. Do this a few times. What this does is that cylinder that's on the brake caliper that we pushed back in earlier, it's gonna basically compact everything and basically put everything back into place. So the cylinder is gonna push out just a little bit up against the brake pads, and then from there, everything's pretty much back where it should be. Then go ahead and take that 12mm bolt and put your brake line back where it needs to be. And we're just going to hand tighten that. Then just put your wheel back on and make sure you do the other side because brakes wear in pairs. There's no need to bleed the brake fluid because we didn't disconnect the caliper from the brake line. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to park it for now because I still got to do the front brakes, but that's how you do rear brakes. If you like today's video, be sure to like and subscribe. You guys have a blessed day.